Hello rock stars, Matt Vanderbo here. Hey, in this video, I'm going to talk about ways in which you can increase the speed of your musical productions so that you can make more music every year. Now, why would you want to make more music every year? It's simple. Mo music equals mo money, baby. Or at least more music gives you the potential to make more money. Nothing is a guarantee in this business, but you need to be able to increase the speed at which you work because moving slowly is not going to get you anywhere. Even if this is just a fun hobby for you, I think everyone here could benefit from working faster and getting more work out the door in less time. That either gives you more time to work on different music, or more time to spend with your family, or more time just to lay on the beach. So today I'm going to give you 6 different proven methods to shorten your time, and proven by me. These are all strategies that have worked phenomenally well for me, but I don't make any claims that they will work for you or necessarily resonate with the way you choose to work. So if you don't like any of this material, just flush it and pretend you never saw this video. Starting with number 1. This is to create templates and start every new track from a template. This is the way I do it. Anytime I work in a new style of music or create something in a style that I haven't made for years, I start with a completely blank canvas, okay? Nothing there. I will go through the tedious process of creating all the new tracks, the MIDI tracks, the audio tracks, the auxiliary buses. I'll put reverbs together, delays together, etc. And I will do it all from scratch. And then I will go through the process of making a complete cue from top to bottom in this new style I'm working in. And in this cue, I do have to go through the painstaking process of going through all my virtual instruments until I find the sound that I'm looking for. And sometimes this can take a while, but you gotta do it. And then I will EQ each instrument and apply all the compressors and I'll do all the sonic treatments that I need to. And yes, making that first track is a long process. And then I will go on to do it for a second track, and then a third track, a fourth, and sometimes a fifth track. I do not work in one track increments. I work in bulk all the time, always have, probably always will. If someone asks me for one track, I'm like, God, you're wasting my time. I really don't like to work on a project unless I can make 5 to 10 different tracks in that style. So I will go through the process of making a complete track from scratch 3, 4, or 5 times. And then when all of those tracks are done, I'll go back and listen to them and figure out which one sounds the best. And by sounding the best, I don't just mean sonic qualities, but I mean which of those tracks is the most representative of the sound that I hope to make in the future in this style. So then save that session as a template. Simple as that. So you go save as template. Boom. Name it whatever the style is. Hip hop, dramedy, urban comedy, ticking tension, whatever it is, you just name it by the genre. And the beauty of this is now, when you open a new ticking tension project, that template has everything that you need in there. The only thing it's missing is the MIDI information and the audio files. Everything else is there and it's ready for you. All the virtual instruments and synths, they're already there, already loaded. All you have to do is press a key on your keyboard and it's making sound. All of the auxiliary buses, they are already piped into where they need to be. All the EQs are there, all the compressors, everything that is the tedious process of producing a track is already done for you. And if you're anything like me, where all of your mastering is being done in the session, then all of your plugins are already on the mastering bus. Your mix is even done. So there is nothing left for you to do when you create a project from a template other than to just compose music. You don't need to mix, you don't need to master, you don't need to move buses around. Everything is just done. And what a huge time saver this is. Not only on the front end where all of that mind-numbing setup stuff happens, but also on the back end where the mixing and mastering would happen. That's done. So you're taking off those 2 parts of music making and you are just composing. What a beautiful thing, right? Isn't that why we are in this business? To compose music? So if you're not already doing this, do it. Okay, number 2 in my list of time-saving tips is to use Presets. This goes from your music making plugins like your virtual instruments and your synths all the way down to the production plugins like your EQs, your compressors, your delays and reverbs, etc. Use the presets. Every single plugin that you buy is going to have dozens, if not hundreds of presets. If they're virtual instruments, then they will have sounds that just are already made. So all you need to do is press the key and it makes a sound. Voila! Now you can customize this and tweak this until you're blue in the face, and you can create some of this stuff from scratch if you wanted to, but the presets are there to save you time. So let them save you time. Same thing for EQ and reverb and delay. All that stuff has already been created by someone else who these plugin companies paid a lot of money to because they are very knowledgeable about their software and the music production field. They paid these people to create the presets. So who are you to come in and say, well, I don't need the presets, I'll make this stuff from scratch. You really think you know more than the person that waves? They did the work for you. So just say, thank you, plugin people. Find a preset and move on with life. Hey, number 3. Do not sit in front of your computer or your instrument and wait for the Muse to give you a genius idea. If you do that, you're just going to be twiddling your thumbs for hours. And during that time that you're waiting for the Muse to show up, I've probably made 2 complete cues from top to bottom, and I'm running in and getting the money that you wanted to get. So we do not wait for the Muse. Okay, do not waste time waiting for ideas to come to you. Get in front of the keyboard or whatever instrument you're playing and just start doing something. For me, if I don't have a track cooking within about 10 to 20 seconds, and I'm not exaggerating here, 10 to 20 seconds, then I've wasted time. And I'm like, oh, this day is shot. Because I get right in front of that keyboard and I start hitting the keys until something cool comes out. Even if nothing cool comes out, I get something down. I can move the notes later with the pencil tool. You're not married to any of these notes. Just get something on the proverbial page and start composing your music around that idea, knowing that you can switch later. Get an idea going and get it going quickly. If your goal is to make a complete cue in 1 to 2 hours, then it is not doing you any good to spend 30 minutes trying to come up with an idea. Okay, moving on to number 4. This is an easy one because it involves an easy concept. Easy because it's all about simplifying your arrangements. So if you haven't seen this video yet, check this out. In that video, I talk about how simplistic cues are much more usable and in demand than the overly complex stuff. So get rid of all the complex ideas that you've got. Stick to something simple. Simple is faster to make, and simple will make you more money. That's a double whammy, baby. Okay, now that moves us on to number 5. This is one I haven't done in a while, but I used to do this quite a bit. Set a timer in your studio for however long you want to work on a track. And not just like, oh, I've got 4 hours to work, so I'm gonna set a 4-hour timer. No, I want you to set the timer for the length of time that you want to get the music done in, and treat this like a race. So if you are used to doing 8 hours on a track, I want you to set a 2-hour timer. And so you're gonna sit in front of your computer, you're gonna open up a new session, and before you do any work, you're gonna start that timer. And you're gonna watch the numbers count down towards 0. And now the pressure is on, baby. If you know that you are under the gun time-wise, then you will not be so inclined to waste all the time going down rabbit holes that we always go down if we don't have a timer in front of us. So if an email comes in, you will be more likely to push it off to the side and ignore it until you have a chance to get to it, rather than being distracted by it and then going down that rabbit hole. Oh, now I got this email I got to respond to. Oh, yeah, I guess I should clean up my inbox for the next hour. We don't want these distractions. So you set that timer and you won't be tempted to pick up your phone to check Instagram or send a few text messages or whatever would take you away from making music, because that timer is staring you in the face, and every second that goes by gets you closer to 0. Time is precious, baby, so don't waste it. Now, here's what happens. When that timer does hit 0, I want you to stop working. Wherever you are at, just stop. And then you come back to it the next day. Not in a couple hours, not later that night, but the next day. After your brain and your ears have already forgotten what the music sounded like, you sit down in your studio with a fresh cup of coffee and you listen to that track again. And I want you to ask yourself one simple question. Is this good enough? And if it is, voila, baby, done. Now, there might be a few mix issues that you've got to address, but overall, if the arrangement is good enough, then it's probably good enough. Far too often, the danger that composers run into is they get going on something and they just keep going down these different rabbit holes and they add this and they add that. And then all of a sudden, this track they're working on is this gigantic soup of nonsense that's got so much stuff that is completely unnecessary. And we only do that when we've got unlimited time to sit there and tinker and add unnecessary crap. So if you've got a timer that is ticking down and then it buzzes and you're done. You walk away. Okay, just like the end of a boxing match, you come back to it the next day, you will probably find that you stopped in a pretty good spot. And I have found personally that when I walk away from a track and come back to it the next day, it was much more done than I thought it was. So those are your 5 tips to save time, but I told you I would give you 6. So the bonus one is just a repeat from my previous video if you haven't watched that yet. And that is just to get the reps in, baby. Make so much music that you forgot about what you made last week. The more you do something, the faster you become. So there's no shortcut to that one. You just have to put in the work. So I hope that no matter where you are at in your musical journey, you have found at least something in this video useful. And I'm going to end this one on a joke. How does the solar system keep its pants up? With an asteroid belt.